Alrighty, so this is to go with the first insight, which is like a intro to just let's talk about the cross and, get a discussion going in the comments if you want to around why you feel that we've been sort of, and it's not that we've been encouraged from leadership not to talk about it because we discussed that. It's more like we've sort of encouraged each other out of talking about it. I don't know why. So if you've got an idea, put it in there. I think it's because it's an uncomfortable topic for a lot of people. And I'm not entirely sure why it's an uncomfortable topic because it's actually quite a beautiful thing, although it's grisly and graphic, and maybe that was why it started being avoided. But in a way, there's so many grisly and graphic things in this world. If we can't face what Christ did on the cross for us like that, in a very open-minded, look at the end picture, again, I will bring this end picture in. Okay, I know it's little and it's like tiny Jesus here, but great. If we can't face that, then how do we find a connection to Christ? This is very personal to him. That whole event was very personal to him. So, John Hilton's quote is in the first insight, or the intro. So the first one I've posted. So if you can't find that, go look at that. But this was just a little poem I found on the internet. I don't know who it's attributed to. There was only one person that posted on Facebook. Maybe that person had written it, but it was under like a generalized account with no name. So I don't know who wrote this, but I do like these words in it and the sentiment in it. And this is something just to think about how the cross that Jesus bore that day was his own. And that's why he talks about that. When he introduces himself, when he teaches in the scriptures, when he's meeting someone, when he appears, he talks about that. He shows you the nail prints in his hands and his feet and the spear wound in his side. He doesn't show you the bruises on his knee from praying in Gethsemane. That is important, don't get me wrong, but this is like more important, like at least equally important, and I would say more important for many, many reasons. And we're going to study some of those and have a look at them, some of the reactions of people. But just let me read this for you. So it's entitled "The Cross Was His Own." I'll do my best here without coughing. They borrowed a bed to lay his head at Jesus' incarnation. They borrowed the colt on which he rode mid shouts of jubilation. But the crown he wore and the cross he bore were his own. He borrowed the bread when the crowd he fed on the grassy mountainside. He borrowed the fish when the people did wish their hunger satisfied. But the crown he wore and the cross he bore were his own. And like I said, I don't know who wrote that, and it's quite beautiful. And for those of you that are watching on YouTube, that's what it looks like. I just found that on the internet. You could probably find it if you went looking for, I think I just went for crucifixion poem or something like that, or cross poem. Yeah, it's pretty easy to find. It doesn't print particularly huge, but it's enough to read, and it's quite cute. I mean, you could totally take that and put it on another picture, no problem, but I really liked that, and I kind of want to break that stigma around talking about that, and, like our churches and our chapels might not have a cross on them. I think that's more to distinguish from churches that do. It's not because we don't believe in the cross or have great sorrow and grief when we think about what happened there. For those of you that aren't members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, it is not that we don't avoid the cross. I think just a lot of people are, like it's a very intense event, and I think for a lot of people, they just want to avoid the intenseness of it, and me, no, I like embrace it and bring it into my life, and I think we should more, because it will help us have that relationship with him. If this was that personal to him, then we need to know more about it, right? And again, John Hilton's book, Consider the Cross, I can't remember, I'm so sorry, and I should have pulled it out of the bookcase, because I have it, and it's great, but yeah, just really tries to debunk the myth about why we don't talk about it, because even me growing up, I'm like, I asked those questions and was told, oh, we believe in a living Christ. I was like, well, yeah, of course we do, we totally believe in the living Christ, but he had to die first to be living again, you know what I mean? So the cross is important, people. So don't avoid this week's study, And don't avoid this topic with your children. Like, talk about it and be open and honest about it, and even say to them, look, I was brought up not to talk about it, but that's not okay. We need to talk about this. Let's talk about it. See what they think, and let them ask questions, and be happy to say, look, I don't know, but let's find out together. That's okay to do that. Explore together and find that relationship together. So that's a beautiful thing. So that's intro part 2, because I ran out of time on the first one. Kind of get on to 10 minutes, so there you go. Let's get it into, I've got 3 points, so they'll drop. Yeah, I'm going to miss Wednesdays, I think. These 2 will drop on Monday, or Sunday if you're, like, behind enough, like America. Anyway, there you go. Okay, hang around. We're going to talk about some of the reactions and some of the people that were there and how they felt about these things. I'll see you there.